Sports 56. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Wolo.
Look up on the wall. There on the wall. Under the pillow. Behind the door. There's a crack in the mirror. Somewhere there's a hole in the pain. I tell you they not to blame. Tell me they not to blame.
We got a deal. Good morning, one and all. Nice to have you aboard. Busy show. We got a deal. Bally's and Comcast have agreed to terms, so starting Monday, you'll be able to watch Cardinal games. Can't wait to talk to Pete Pranica. He'll have some insight on it. He will still have his Grizzlies games on Bally's because they've reorganized and they've got a new deal, and we'll talk even more intently about that in our next segment on the business of sports. Joe Dank has done the digging. We'll figure out what's going on with that. Boy, the Olympics are so captivating, and the medal drought for the men's gymnastics team is over. Zach Boyd, did you watch any of that last night? Are you an Olympic guy?
I am an Olympic guy.
I mean, my wife's gone crazy on this. She's written down exactly when every gymnastic thing is going to happen, particularly the women, which are today. So by the end of this day, we'll know if Simone Biles, and I think she will, I really do, is just going to take over and live up to the legacy. You know, in the overall, in the qualifications for it, she was 2 points. That's a whole lot, folks. She was 2 points ahead of the Brazilian, who was in second, and then the girl that won the overall gold in Tokyo 4 years ago, Suni Lee, she's third. Mm-hmm. We'll see how all of that plays out. And then, of course, this is the team stuff, and then you're going to have the individuals all coming up. So it's crazy. But last night, the men, it was so neat. The kid that does the one event, the pommel horse, he's the last guy. He had to come through. This is his specialty. He's won the worlds in the pommel horse. And he waited the whole meet for his one moment of glory. If he comes through, they win the bronze, because the Japanese and the Chinese in men's gymnastics are a little like the Americans in women's gymnastics. They're just better. And I hate to say this, I don't want to douse the fire of enthusiasm. I really don't. But you realize the Russians are not in this?
I did notice that.
Yeah.
I was kind of curious.
And the Russians probably would have finished third, but since they're not there, the 16-year medal drought for these guys. These guys were great. They came through in the clutch when they had to. And the pommel horse guy, this was great. NBC did a good job. He wears these glasses, which he takes off when he competes. So he must be like half blind, seriously, because they're really thick glasses. And he walks up to the pommel horse, and he takes off his glasses, feels everything out, and then starts his routine. So they did this cool thing, because he kind of looks like Reeves, the guy that used to play Superman, that ended up being paralyzed in a horse accident, if you recall. Can't believe I can't remember his first name, but Reeves was his last name. And he looks just like the guy.
With the S curl in the front?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they did the shot of him because it's like he goes from Clark Kent to Superman when he gets on the pommel horse. And he was incredible. I think he got a 9, whatever it was. Clearly put the men over Ukraine for the bronze medal, and their 16-year medal drought in men's gymnastics is over. So I'm thrilled for the Americans, and the women are tonight. I've watched equestrian, I've watched ping pong, I've watched skateboarding, I've watched water polo. Of course, I watched all the swimming, and Ledecky finished first in her semifinal heat today in the long race that she does. She's going to win that one. It's just fun stuff.
Yeah.
And I got to admit, I think NBC's doing a hell of a job captivating all of us. You know, you all watch Tirico, and he does really the recap show, which is in prime time here, which is in the middle of the night there. But if you go to USA or if you go to Peacock, if you've got Peacock, you can watch everything, and it stays there. It's archived there, so you can literally watch. I think they got a thing called Golden. So every golden moment, every performance that ends up a gold medal, they got it on there. It's great. It's the best way I've ever seen to watch the Olympics. Do you buy that, Mr. Techie?
If you want to buy a Peacock, that's all. Because I'm not buying it.
Well, here's the thing. You might be. Do you have Comcast, or are you a DirecTV guy?
I don't have any. I don't have cable.
So how do you do this?
What?
You just pick and choose and buy that way?
Yeah. Or I just watch it on the main NBC feed or whatever.
You watch it on the main NBC feed?
Yeah.
So
like
that's like free TV. You just watch it over the air?
That's how I keep.
That's amazing. I don't know anybody that just watches over the air.
I got one or two apps that.
So do you have Netflix?
I do have Netflix.
Okay, so you have Netflix. You have Prime.
I do have Prime.
Do you have Hulu?
I do have Hulu.
See, I don't have Hulu. You have Netflix, Prime, Hulu. What's the other one? Amazon. Oh, that's Prime.
Well,
what's the other one? Oh, HBO. You have HBO?
No.
Oh, HBO's good.
No. It's an Xfinity.
Well, I have Xfinity. I get everything through that, but I got to tell you, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask you, what do you spend a month on cable and on internet?
See, some of it is mine, some of it is my siblings.
Okay. Oh, because you cheat.
It just depends.
Yes.
But if you ask me, I probably no more than 50, because I know I got League Pass on my iPad here, so I know that takes up the bulk of it.
But only $50 a month?
Yeah, because what?
Well, I'm spending almost 5 times that. So I'm an idiot.
That's the thing. I don't pay for all my apps. I don't pay for all my streaming services. That's the only thing.
Okay. Well, Peacock, because I'm an Xfinity Rewards guy, Comcast Rewards, they call it Xfinity, I get Peacock for free. But if I watch Yellowstone on Peacock, I have to watch commercials, that's terrible.
Yeah, that's.
But they limit it to about a 60-second segment. Sometimes it's 30, so it's livable. Anyway. I think NBC is doing a great job. We'll talk some of that with Joe Dank as well. Audubon is open for business on Thursday. And Eli Savoy, who was written up in the Daily Memphian today, Greg Gaston, they played it yesterday. When I walked into this studio, they inundated me with positivity. And I'm going to tell you, between those two guys, that does not always happen. Inundated me with positivity. They were so high on the new Audubon. We'll, of course, have Mickey Barker in tomorrow to make golf picks. I guess we are going to pick the Olympics. Right, Zach? We got to figure out the field, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to make our picks on the Olympics, the tournament that I believe starts Thursday. That's what we'll do tomorrow. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Do me a favor real quick. Go to pgatour.com and tell me if they've got the power rankings and the experts picks on the Olympics. They should. Because that makes it much easier for us to figure it out. Otherwise, we'll have to go figure it out another way. But I know the field is, I'm pretty sure it starts on Thursday. I don't even know much about the golf course, but we'll figure it out by then. But
this week's power rank.
They got it?
Yeah, they
Olympics?
Their top 15.
We're good. We're good. And then you can go to the field and you can go to experts picks and sleepers. It works. As long as they're doing one, they'll have it on all of them. And that's the main event, because the feeder thing they got is real. I don't even think they have a PGA Tour event this week. I think it's a Korn Ferry Tour event. But it'll be a lot of fun. But Audubon is a gem. It'll be open on Thursday. They say the 8th hole might be the signature hole. And Eli was saying they could actually move the tee back on that and water will come into play. They could move it back and make it a 250-yard par 3. So if they have an NCAA tournament here, which they plan on having, that's what they'll probably do. You'll have a 250-yard par 3. I couldn't get there with a driver. So anyway, we'll talk more about that. And I got to tell you, yesterday I emceed this event at the Memphis Indoor for the partners of Tiger Sports Properties that will be involved in all of the Tigers broadcasts and things of that nature this year that are involved. And Ed Scott, first day on the job, and the president, Bill Hargrave, was there. He introduced Ed Scott. It was a really nice event. I thank all the people that came. But they also had, as part of a little panel to answer questions, they had the newest kid from Indiana, DJ Minor, but who looks, by the way, he's a defensive back who looks really big, really fast. They had Seth Hennigan there. Seth Hennigan, the Tiger quarterback, has grown in so many ways. I mean, he's now so articulate, and he was talking about NIL and fun moments and, things that he has circled and said he was going to be. Even after this year is over, he wants to be a Memphian. He's going to try pro football, wants to be a coach, and I think he wants to follow in his dad's footsteps. He wants to be a high school coach. But if you look at him, my goodness, is he bulked up. So we asked him, how much weight has he gained since he came here as a freshman? And if you look at the freshman pictures, he looks a little, I don't want to say chunky, but, not defined. And he says he's still not as defined as some. He says he's got a dad bod. I think that's what he called it. But I will say it didn't look that way to me. He's gained 35 pounds of muscle. 35 pounds since his freshman year. He didn't lose any speed in gaining that weight, but it makes him more durable, and that's incredibly important because, honestly, injuries are going to play a role in how far Memphis will go, and this is the one kid that you can't lose. You just cannot lose Seth Hennigan. He's the key to your offensive side. And, you got an offensive line that is all new. I think, even though there will be a couple of returners, Xavier Hill, Jonah Gamble, those two guys are going to play different positions than they did a year ago. But most of the consensus thought is, from Tim Cramsey to Ryan Silverfield to everybody else on the offensive side, this has the potential to be a better offensive line. But Hennigan is amazing to me. He's grown in so many ways, but figuratively, he's grown 135 pounds bigger. Last segment of the show, Mike Keith will join us. We'll talk some National Football League. He told me they will be coming off of their first practice with pads. I saw some video the other day where they had opened up the stadium, and what is the name of that stadium now? Is it still Bridgestone? No, that was the arena. What is the name of the Blue Cross Blue Shield? Maybe. What is the name of the stadium the Titans play in? Anyway, they opened it up over this past weekend, and they had an open practice there. Everybody was in shorts, no pads. They had helmets. This will be the first practice with helmets. So we'll talk a little bit about the first practice, the public training, everything else that goes with it, quarterbacks and all the money they're making. You realize how many great comebacks this year that we're going to see in the NFL? They're all quarterbacks. All these guys are coming back from some kind of an injury. Aaron Rodgers, who played 4 snaps with the Jets. Joe Burrow, who seems to be always hurt. Kirk Cousins is coming back. Daniel Jones is coming back. Herbert is coming back with the Chargers. All big names. And all making comebacks this year. And then, of course, Tua got his big payday. We haven't seen a Dak Prescott payday yet. We'll have to wait and see on that.
So the Titans, their new stadium that they're supposed to be building,
No.
or does the
The,
stadium
the,
that
the
they're
stadium that they're in. What's the name of it?
in? Nissan.
Nissan. Okay, I
That's
forget
what
that.
I thought I
Nissan
said.
Stadium. Man. It didn't start that way. It wasn't Nissan Stadium to begin with, I don't think. Did it? I know Bridgestone Arena is where the NHL team plays. And the Tigers were supposed to play Tennessee in that arena. It's a nice arena. Anyway, it's about the same age as FedEx Forum, I think. I think I like FedEx Forum better.
Really?
Than Bridgestone. Yeah, I think so. I think I do. Anyway, Mike Keith joins us in the final segment. I'm sitting in the Family Leisure Studio again. Now, today, we're getting to the end of July. It's the 29th. Tomorrow. Last chance today, tomorrow, to get in on that sale, that summer sale party, because I don't know if it's going into August. If it is, you're fine. But if it's not, you're going to miss out on 24-foot above ground pools under $2,000, on the big 4-person spas, that hot tub under $3,000, you $1,000 off a play gym. All this stuff still going on. This summer sale party still happening, but you got to get there because it could be over in a couple of days. Go I-40 Whidden Road. Check it out, Family Leisure. There's always a sale, but this one's special going on right now. We take the quick time out. When we come back, we talk the business of sports. We talk about the new Bally's Comcast deal. Joe Dank, our expert, is next.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Genesis Diamonds is opening up the vault with our largest GIA diamond event ever. Starting Saturday for a limited time, all our GIA diamond engagement rings are down 20%.
That's 20% below Genesis' already unbeatable price. This means you can buy like a dealer homes with deep discounts on over $10 million in stunning diamond rings.
Savings on every GIA diamond ring, 1.5 carats to 20 carats, all shapes, too. Records, ovals, ring cuts, cushion cuts, pear shapes, emerald cuts, princess cuts.
Remember, all Genesis diamonds are handmade to come straight from the diamond cutters that are rated by the GIA, the most prestigious gem market in the world.
Genesis everyday prices are unbeatable.
Don't miss this chance to save like never before. This means you can brand new buy like a dealer homes.
Starting Saturday for a limited time, exclusively at Genesis Diamonds.
I'm at the movies, asking people if they'll switch seats with me for $574.
Here, take mine.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
Too much work.
Not if you call them. They handle the switching.
Now that's a plot twist.
Shh. Check Allstate first, and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
All 650 acquisition fee, 20,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte RE 794066, MSRP 21820, Telluride RG 543666, MSRP 39835, EV9 R602 29603, MSRP 61035. Includes all rebates and incentives and PF 695. Includes tax, title, license, registration, and fees. Must finance through Hyundai with approved credit valid through 7/31/24. Dealer stock only.
I got Jeff Allen on the line. Dawson
Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah. Hey, dude, you ready to rock our world?
You better believe it, Randy. How about 41 MPG Highway in a 2024 Kia Forte LXS, $199 a month, $37.99 due at signing. 2024 Kia Telluride S, $379 per month, $39.99 due at signing. And 304 EPA estimated range for $389 a month in a 2024 Kia EV9 Lite, or get 0% for 48 months, $49.99 due at signing, all 24-month lease.
Plus, every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Or online, KiaMountMoriah.com.
I mentioned just how gorgeous I am hearing the new Audubon is. It does open on Thursday to the public. Just so you know, it'll be $45 to play if you walk, $20 more if you're going to ride a cart. That's on the weekends. On the weekdays, I think it's $35. It's a real reasonable place to play the short course. That's that 6-hole par 3 that they've got for juniors. But anybody can play it who wants to get better, learning the game. It's going to be incredible. And don't forget, we still got Galloway. We still got Pine Hill with that brand new clubhouse. We still have got Overton Park for all the juniors. I know the OPO, the junior tournament, is over now. Still got a couple of tournaments coming up that you might want to look at that are individual championships, including an Audubon later in the year. Go to their website, memphispubliclinks.com. You can't beat what's going on in golf in this town public-wise. That is for sure. It's an amenity, golf is, and the city recognizes that, and they have really stepped up. And just go see the new Audubon, and you'll understand what I am talking about. Let's talk with our friend about the business of sports, former GM of 24 and 30, former sports producer and director. That would be Joe Dank. Good morning, Mr. Dank. You and I talked about this real war that was going on between Comcast, the parent company for Xfinity, and with Bally's, and you did not think there would be a settlement. There is a settlement. It came late last night, which means I think starting on Monday, we will be getting Cardinal baseball, Braves baseball, and we don't have to worry about seeing Pete Pranica and Brevin Knight and Rob Fisher. They will be on Bally's with the Grizzlies this coming fall. Good morning. How did it all happen?
Well, good morning, David. And it's actually Thursday, August 1, Thursday night. It'll be back.
Oh, it's
Bally's will be back
Thursday
on the
night.
Xfinity.
Wow.
Yeah, it's Thursday.
Man, I thought we had to wait till Monday.
They're going to flip a switch and put everything back where it is. This is a huge deal. It really came down to it came down to Bally's kind of giving in to Comcast's terms as it relates to putting the service onto a different tier of their lineup. But it's a lifeline for Bally's because Bally's was able to delay its bankruptcy proceedings, which were supposed to go on yesterday. And they were able to use this issue as a delay tactic to make sure that they could settle this. But they did settle with Comcast, which, of course, owns the Xfinity cable systems, which serves the primary cable subscribers in our Memphis area. But the Bally's channels will return, as we said, on Thursday, but they will be on a tier, which is the Xfinity Ultimate TV package. So Xfinity Ultimate TV, it costs about $20 more than the normal basic cable tier for subscribers, but that's going to get you, again, both of those Bally's channels. As you know, we had two channels, Bally's South and Southeast, and it brings back Cardinals, Reds, Braves for the baseball season, Grizzlies and Predators as we go forward. But again, a critical element of this has been Bally's relationships with the various leagues and its teams. And so those matters remain largely unsettled. This simply gets them back, but gets them back in at a significantly reduced rate. So, the way it works is Xfinity will pay Bally's a per-subscriber fee in order to carry the service. Well, by it going on to a tiered system, that remarkably reduces, and it's not clear at this time just how much, but I would just guess somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 50%. Now, that's a wide range, I realize, but somewhere between 20 and 50% will be the reduced number of subscribers that Bally's will have in these Xfinity markets. So, whatever they got beats the zero they had yesterday, but it is still not what they had prior to May 1 when they went off those cable systems.
All right, so I think I paid $12 a month. I think that's what you see. Nobody knows what you pay when you're on these things. That's
right.
Part of the problem. But I think I paid $12 a month, and I would get it on 830 and 831. That was the high definition spot that they had it. Is that where I'm going to get it tomorrow night or Thursday night, or is that changing? And so they cut my bill a little bit. Is that going to go up?
Well, you'll remember that since May 1, we were seeing on our bills an $8 rebate.
Oh, it was $8? Okay.
It was $8 for those Bally sports channels. So now you're going to have to be on this tier. And so what's unclear to me is if that $8 is going to be restored if you're on the tier, and if you are not on this Ultimate TV package, if you just continue to pay $8 less. Because before this, they were on all the tiers, as I understood it. So the good news is if you want it, there is a way to get it. And that's a heck of a lot better than it's been since May 1, where if you wanted to watch Cardinals baseball. Now, the other interesting element of this, too, is that Xfinity Ultimate customers will also now be able to stream on the Bally's Sports app when you authenticate. And that's just simply kind of like you do on an ESPN stream. You authenticate that you are a subscriber to ESPN via a platform such as Xfinity or DirecTV, and then you can stream. So now you're going to be able to stream Cardinal baseball as well if you're a subscriber on the Bally's, and I think that's a little bit of a change over how it had been.
So what does that mean? I can watch it on my phone? I mean, you could do that already, couldn't you?
You can download the Bally's app, and you'll be able to actually get the games now.
What is that Ultimate package going to cost me? And it was $8
Well, that's
before.
what I'm talking about. Well, but the Ultimate package included more than just this. So you likely have Ultimate package already.
Okay,
now the question is what the price adjustment will be if they just put the $8 back in.
Oh.
And for all the people who don't have Ultimate package, they don't get the $8 tacked back on.
I see. So if I've got that, you just said it would be a reduced price. So could it be $4 that I'll have to pay instead of the $8?
No. I think it's $8.
Oh, you think it's $8?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, obviously, for business reasons, I'm going to keep that. You know that for sure. All right, well, that's the good news. Again, now the Bally's has to make all their deals with the teams, so that's still
right. Now that we've got the channels, they have to continue to have access to those games, and baseball is really the tough one right now for Bally's and Diamond Sports Group, and baseball is looking at an alternative way to deliver local TV rights all across the country right now because they know they're lagging behind, and the general health of these regional sports networks is significantly in peril because of the reduced subscriber fees, and so they're simply not going to be able to pay the rights fees that they had in the past, and that's why people are looking for alternatives all across the country. You know, many teams have dropped Bally's altogether and gone with a package provided by local broadcast stations in those markets.
Like they used to.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid growing up, I watched the Cubs and the White Sox in Chicago on WGN. That's how you watched it. Now, obviously, TV was relatively new back in the 50s, but they only did home games. They did a couple of away games, but that's because you had the Cubs and the White Sox, so you had a game almost every night anyway. But it was always over-the-air TV. Could we go back to that?
Well, you remember the line, David. Everything old is new again.
Yeah.
And, we might use this to transition into the NBA if you'd like, because, the real interesting part of the new NBA television deal, which was finally announced last week, is it's really concentrated in two areas. Over-the-air broadcast TV stations, in this case ABC stations and NBC stations, have a huge part of the new NBA TV deal. And then a streamer, and in this
Right.
case, Amazon. So what's lost in that is the in-between piece, which is traditional cable television, and that's where TNT was, and TNT is out. So isn't that interesting?
Well-
And that's the way this is going forward.
Okay, TNT is out, but TNT says, wait a second, we matched it. And they have a streamer in Max, which is an HBO product. We have that product. We put it in there. We matched it. We had the right of refusal here. What's happening in that?
Well, as our listeners might know, that is now a court case, and Warner Brothers Discovery, the owner of TNT, is suing the NBA, thinking they have matched. Now, the interesting hang-up here is that critical to the Warner Brothers Discovery play is they want that content to still be available via TNT in a traditional cable package.
Right.
And the NBA simply says that's where you're not matching because that level of distribution is not part of the package. It's a streamer-only package that they're trying to match, which is the Amazon piece. And if the NBA were to allow Warner Brothers to put the material back on TNT, that would affect the Disney deal and ESPN as well as the NBC deal, which has a huge Peacock component. Right. And it would reopen those deals. So the NBA is going to fight really, really hard. There may be some type of settlement on the horizon here, but I think Warner Brothers Discovery now is a very long shot to have any piece of the NBA, other than maybe a production deal, or even people have reported a potential licensing deal for inside the NBA. So in other words, the great show with Charles and Shaq and Kenny and Ernie, Warner Brothers could conceivably license that to Amazon and produce it and sell them a TV show that could run in and around the game broadcasts on Amazon. So that's an interesting thing. But in the grand scope of the world, that does nothing for Warner Brothers to recover its loss of the NBA, which has billions and billions of dollars of impact.
What do you think happened there? How did TNT get lost in the woods here? Because most people are saying this was not the NBA. This was a mistake made by Warner Brothers.
Well, I think two things. Warner Brothers is under new ownership with a guy named David Zaslav, and he made a couple of comments that I think, frankly, it's been widely reported, did not sit well with Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA. It's amazing we have these giant corporations, these giant institutions like the NBA, and it still comes down to a guy said something that offended the other guy and that created a problem. Isn't that amazing?
Isn't that amazing?
But that is, at one point in my life, I served on the Fox board of directors and got to know the people who run Fox Sports very well, and it was amazing how important their relationship with the NFL was on a personal level and the things that they would share. And you just realize these things matter. People made the difference in all these deals. So I think that was one element that hurt Warner Brothers and TNT. The other thing is NBC came really strong and brought the over-the-air component to it. And, an interesting thing as part of this deal now is when Sunday Night Football is over on NBC,
Sunday nights
on NBC after that are going to be an NBA game for the rest of the NBA season. And Tuesday nights in prime time on NBC, a typical night where you might see, everything on NBC is like in the category of those crime shows, right? Well, Tuesday nights on NBC during the entire NBA season is going to be a live NBA game. And then they're going to have almost 80 NBA broadcasts on Peacock. So NBC just came in with a huge amount of money. Their deal is $2.5 billion a year, and that was the piece that TNT was originally dealing on, and they just blinked and offered less and said that they weren't going higher. So there were some mistakes, but then NBC really blew them out of the water. And then what TNT wasn't able to offer was over-the-air TV station distribution throughout the country. So It's a landmark deal. I mean, look, we've talked about it before. $77 billion over 11 years. It's
Crazy.
just absolutely amazing. And it changes it, but it's just very, very interesting.
Well, the other aspect to me that's intriguing is that every one of those has a streaming component. ESPN's got ESPN Plus, right?
Yep.
NBC's got Peacock, and Amazon is a streamer. So all three are streaming, which is, it seems like, where we are going. Okay, I'm watching the Olympics. I just was bragging about I think NBC is doing an amazing job because you can watch it on NBC. You can watch it on USA. There's obviously over-the-air, a cable component, and Peacock, which streams everything, and you can watch everything. And by the way, if you missed it, go back and watch it. Every gold medal event you can watch on Peacock. I don't think you can do better than what they're doing. How are the numbers? What are they saying?
I agree with everything you just said, plus the numbers are just through the roof. So the opening ceremony's on Friday, 28.6 million viewers. That's plus 60% versus the opening ceremonies 3 years ago in Tokyo. Now, remember, that was COVID affected.
Right,
that
exactly.
was bad. But it's still plus 8% versus 2016 in Rio. So that's huge. And that number, 28.6 million, that includes the live telecast of the opening ceremonies, which were on Friday afternoon, plus the primetime telecast in the evening, which was a replay. So that was a big opener, 28.6 million. Saturday, again, combining that live afternoon window in the evening, 32.4 million viewers. That's up 83% versus Tokyo.
Wow.
Can it get better? Well, it did on Sunday because they popped 41.5 million viewers on NBC. Now, this is the combined in that afternoon window and in the evening window and on all of those platforms that you're describing.
Right.
But that 41.5 million viewers on Sunday, David, plus 91% versus Tokyo.
That's incredible.
Now, here's a couple of other quick ones that are interesting. The men's basketball game against Serbia, 10.9 million viewers for that game. The NBA Finals averaged just over 11 million viewers. So look at that. An Olympic basketball game against Serbia did comparable numbers in a viewership standpoint to what the NBA Finals did.
Wow.
And the women's soccer game against Germany did 4.2 million
Which
viewers.
I
so
was
let's
one of them.
compare that 4.2 to let's compare that to a Caitlin Clark WNBA game, if you will, right now, just for fun.
Okay,
but that's
sure.
That's certainly in the game. It's not in the level, those games that she's been playing have been somewhere between 2 and 5 million, so it's right in the middle of that, if you will. And so that's an interesting thing. The final thing, you mentioned all of these platforms. One of the things that I enjoyed the most over the weekend, and I spent a little significant amount of time watching it, I think a lot of listeners would be familiar with the NFL Red Zone, yes?
Yes.
So Peacock is doing something called the Olympic Gold Zone.
Right.
And it's a channel not unlike the Red Zone. In fact, it's the talent. One of the guys hosting is the same guy who does the Red Zone, and I can't believe his name's escaping me at the moment, and I apologize for that. But it's really cool, and it's a whip around, and there's sometimes it's 2 screens, sometimes it's 3 screens, and sometimes it's 4 screens. But, if you're in the final game of a set deciding, of a match deciding of tennis, that is showing, and we're showing live water polo in a screen and team handball. And when we get the key moments of other contests, they whip around and they get there. So just like you see every score in an NFL game, you're seeing a lot of key moments of Olympic competition, and that's another really neat innovation. So, yeah. Anything that Comcast NBC is doing with these Olympics, I think, is impressive from a production standpoint, a delivery standpoint, and I've heard no reports of any kind of technical failures of the Peacock platform here through the first weekend, and you can tell viewership is through the roof.
It's incredible. Last thing, I'm going to have you guess this. Because most of the time Olympics are losers. They have to build all the infrastructure they never used after the Olympics are over. I don't know how much of the case that will be with Paris, but how many people on Sunday do you think filled all the venues for all of the sporting events? That could be ping pong, skate park, surfing in Tahiti, just the total attendance in all the venues for every competition, equestrian, cross country, you name it.
I cannot venture a guess because I just don't even, if you'd asked me this when we spoke earlier today, I'd have an answer for you right now, but I don't, because
This
what
will
I
blow you
don't
away.
know.
This will blow you away. 'Cause
You know?
Yes, I do know. 700,000 people on Sunday. 700,000. First of all,
my goodness, that's unbelievable.
I didn't think Paris could hold 700,000 tourists. Think about that.
Well,
That's
yeah, because I was
incredible.
going to say, how many of those people do you think were locals?
A lot of them, obviously.
You
a
do?
lot of them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, they've had 27,000 at the basketball games. They had for the rugby when the French played and won the gold medal. It was a sellout every game. 67,000.
Well, I think this is one of those perfect alignments that's occurred here. First of all, Paris is a great, great city that everybody wants to go to. They've done a really good job. We're coming out of that Tokyo situation 3 years ago, and there's some really great storylines here.
Yeah.
And it all just seems to be coming together, and maybe that's a good thing. It's actually kind of nice to have something that so far everybody feels pretty good about, don't you think, on the world stage? There's nothing wrong with that right now, is there?
A lot of positivity everywhere you go with this. I'm in agreement. It's a beautiful thing thus far. Next week we might talk about this since you brought up Caitlin Clark. Did you see Dawn Staley admitted they probably should have had Caitlin Clark on the team? And I'm going to ask you, when we look at the numbers for the USA women's basketball team, how many millions you think they didn't get because of Caitlin Clark? That'll be a guess on your part. We'll do that next week. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, David. Take care.
You got it. That's our man, Joe Dank from Channel 24 and 30, former GM there. Knows sports and knows the business of sports for sure. We take a timeout. When we come back, we'll head. I don't know if he's in Nissan, but could be. First padded practice for the Titans today. Our NFL guy, that would be the voice of the Titans. That's Mike Keith. He's right around the corner.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Memphis, the playoffs are back. Come see the PGA Tour's best compete for the trophy of the FedEx St. Jude Championship August 14th through 18th. Witness the drama as 70 players arrive in Memphis and only 50 move on. Tickets are on sale now at FedExChampionship.com.
It's the Gossett Mitsubishi Motors Summer Sales Event, and you won't find a better bang for your buck. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike and get 43 MPG Highway and 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage, $17,980 or $299 a month. 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $26,530 or $379 a month. 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, we Gossett, $26,530 or $379 a month. And get vacation ready in 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander, $29,900 or $399 a month. Plus peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
84 month, 500 military rebate, 500 loyalty, and 500 trade-in assist. Mirage, RHO 10843, MSRP 18480. Sport, RU1 11873, MSRP 28030. Outlander, RCO 63695, MSRP 314. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
Everyone loves home improvement. South Haven Supply and Warehouse 51 makes it easy. A real hardware store run by 3 generations of a real hardware family where you can get it all. Whether it's repairs, remodeling, or new building, kitchens, bathrooms, tiles, tubs, vanities, sinks, mirrors, lighting, furniture, even door hardware. All the latest designs as well as timeless classics. And if outdoor fun is on your mind, they have the big green egg and accessories. South Haven Supply and Warehouse 51, 8560 Highway 51. Easy home improvement. At Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, they're proud to be here for their neighbors while giving back to communities across the state throughout the year, every year. This month, they're honored to stand alongside 1,600 dedicated volunteers as they make this year's annual FedEx St. Jude Golf Tournament fundraiser a resounding success. Giving back to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, which helps treat and defeat childhood cancer, is a meaningful effort that is very close to their hearts. This year, their goal is to reach $3 million in donations for kids at St. Jude's, and they couldn't do it without the support of their amazing volunteers. To all the participants, thank you for being a part of this most important endeavor to lift up so many families across the state from right here in Memphis, Tennessee. To read more about Team Blue volunteers, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, Healthy Places, and other ways they're devoted to helping our communities, please visit bcbst.com.
Back to Wolo and friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshyn.
Let's head to Nashville. Straight off the practice fields. First time in pads. That was today. Mike Keith watched his Titans, and the voice joins us now. How was it? Good morning.
The most intense first practice I have seen in several years. And when I say first practice, I'm obviously talking about pads. We've had 8 days of work, but when you get through the acclimation period, you're ready to see the real thing. And this was clearly the real thing today, complete with fight and wins on both sides and a lot of stuff to sort of take in. So it was a lot of fun to watch.
Can you share who was in the fight and who won?
Well, Jeffrey Simmons was in the middle of multiple altercations, which is not 100% surprising because he just gets after it and he hates everybody on offense. You know, that's what it comes down to. And so this was not a padded practice where they were wearing pads and there was no contact. I mean, this was the real thing. And the offensive line went after the defensive linemen with some zeal today, taking what they've learned from veteran offensive line coach Bill Callahan and really applying it. I mean, you saw it. I mean, they won a lot of the one-on-one battles. A lot of the defensive linemen got frustrated, felt like they were being held, as they always do. So it was a thing. And I mean, it got right scrappy, if you will.
You know, the one thing, is the practice over now?
It is just ended,
Yeah.
yes.
So the one thing you always hope when you open up with pads is that there's no injuries. Because you are, for the first time, really those short, sprint-like moves and using your body in different ways that you haven't really done so in a while. You're always a little bit worried about that. Of course, who knows? Look at the Williams, the kid from the Dallas Cowboys, non-contact injury, an ACL, MCL deal. So you never know, but you always worry about that first contact thing.
100%. Because what you're saying is right. I mean, Samson Ekubon, tears an Achilles in a practice. And, I mean, it's just like what Aaron Rodgers did last year on the fourth play of the season. There was nothing – I mean, stuff happens. And when you get on the practice field, anything can happen because you're making those short, quick movements that you can hope to, sort of simulate in the off season. But the truth is you really can't. I mean, to play football, you have to play football. And that's a lot of what Brian Callahan is getting across is the padded practices are going to be for real. The preseason games are going to be for real with guys playing because he's trying to get over a lot of the newness factor as quickly as possible to get this team ready to play Chicago on September 8th.
How's the Tony Pollard, Tyjae Spears thing going? Who's
good.
Who's the lead guy?
I don't think there is one. And I'm not saying that to be political because if I was doing that, I'd say, it's Tony Pollard. Come on in Memphis. This is how they're going to use them. I mean, they are both going to play a considerable amount. Will not surprise me if Tony goes out there first because he's the more veteran player. But I think according to situation, they'll line up in different ways. Tony is off to a really, really good start. You might have seen the highlight from Saturday's practice at the stadium, made an incredible over-the-shoulder catch. He was good today. Tajay was good today. I think one of the nice things for the Titans at this moment is they know exactly what and who they have in the running back position, and that's a good thing to know on July 30th.
I'm thinking in this day and age, even though it's a throwing game, and Pollard, by the way, we know can catch out of the backfield, but I think in this day and age, everybody uses two backs. That's just the way it is.
Not three.
Yeah.
I mean, you do, and in the league in particular, you do that from the standpoint that you're just the 30 of the teams in the league are just not going to pay a feature back. They're going to choose to spend their money in other places, and so they would rather take, in less than $10 million and spread it across three guys than pay one guy $15 million,
Right.
like what we were doing with Derrick Henry. And
Right.
again, the whole thing with us and Derrick Henry, it wasn't about Derrick. It wasn't about him not being able to play anymore. It was about getting out of the business of tying up those kind of resources in one guy. And that's the change. We made a fundamental change in our salary cap philosophy by making that move.
Well, I think if you look at just the position of running back over the last 10 years, and look, I grew up with Gale Sayers and then Walter Payton. I'm a running back dude, okay?
I got you.
We had D'Angelo Williams here. We've had so many great backs the last few years here. It's great. I love the running game. But the truth is, if you look at draft positioning and you look at salaries, the game has changed. The receivers become a lot more important. The quarterback has always been the most important. The guy that protects the quarterback on the left side has been one of the most important guys. The guy that rushes the quarterback has always been an important guy. The position of running back has been de-emphasized because the game evolved. And that's just the truth. And the Titans have come to that realization like most of the other teams in the league have.
That's right. I mean, like the position of guard, like the position of inside linebacker, like the position of safety.
Mm-hmm.
We traded Kevin Byard last year to get out of the business of paying a safety top dollar. We're paying corners.
Right.
And that was the philosophical change that we chose to make at that point. So I think for us, it's obviously, been a tough thing in some ways because you love those players. We love Kevin Byard. We love Derrick Henry. They are household names. They're on the side of your stadium. But it's all changed. I give you a great example. Another guy who had a good day today is Jabari Small from Memphis, Tennessee, at running back. And when Jabari was at Tennessee, they played four guys last year. They rotated. They had Jalen Wright, and they had Jabari, and they had Dylan Sampson, and they kind of kept going. And that's really what you're seeing because you keep a fresh guy in the game. You don't have the wear and tear. And you're finding a lot of the same type backs. Jabari Small, and I'm watching him practice today, and I'm actually watching him walk off the field right now, as a matter of fact. He's a good football player. He's a good football player. Is he good enough to be on an NFL roster? That's for somebody with more experience in personnel than for me to say. But, man, in the college game in particular, if you can find 3 or 4 guys who are just really good football players at the position, that's what you do.
Oh, yeah. Well, Kenny Gainwell, Gibson, and Pollard all on the same team at the same time. So
and where did you get those guys in the draft? When they went to the league, where did they go in the draft? Day 3.
Right, exactly. And that's what you find right now. Real quick, since you mentioned Aaron Rodgers, one of the great storylines for me this year will be the comeback, the quarterback comeback. You got Rodgers, who played 4 snaps with the Jets. Joe Burrow, who's always hurt, he's coming back. Kirk Cousins is coming back. Daniel Jones is coming back. Herbert with the Chargers is coming back. That's amazing. All these QBs with name recognition brands all coming back.
If Aaron Rodgers plays to any semblance of Aaron Rodgers, the Jets could be in contention, in my opinion, to go to the Super Bowl.
Can he, though, at his age, with all these
I
years
don't know, because I mean, you've asked a great question, because the injury he had is something that 40-year-olds have happened to them when they get out of the car at work.
Right.
And that's the part of it, no matter how hard you train, no matter what you do, the majority of people, as you age, as we all know, stuff just happens. You have no explanation for it. You weren't even doing anything stupid. You were walking upstairs. You were weed-eating the yard. Stuff happens. That's what happened to Aaron Rodgers last year. And now the question becomes, can he come back? But I'll say this. They are a good football team. They are a really nice football team overall. And if they add a quarterback, they get a lot more interesting.
All right, I'm going to ask you a very tough question. Last thing, I promise. Rodgers, Burrow, Cousins, Jones, Herbert. Who has the best comeback?
Burrow.
I agree with that. He's the youngest. And every time he's healthy, he's great.
He's dangerous. That's right.
He's Mike Keith. He is the voice of the Titans. We'll do this again next Tuesday. Thank you again for your time. We appreciate you.
Thank you, David.
That's our man, Mike Keith. Brought to you in part by Ken Garland. Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. There's generations, a third Williams in it now. So you had Ken Sr., Ken Jr., William. This is 75 years of total dedication to building palaces with all the new amenities throughout all of Memphis. Go to kengarland.com, see what I'm talking about. Know this about Ken, because when you listen to his recorded commercial, he makes a big deal about this, and it's right on. It's that when you hire him to do that dream home or to do the remodel, the renovation with innovation, the job is never really done. Because he's there when it's completed to make sure if anything goes wrong, he's there to make sure he rights that wrong. The job is never done, and he's so much fun to talk to. KenGarland.com. If you've got that dream for that home or that renovation, you want to stay in your older home, that's the best place to go. 75 years worth of Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. That does it for us. We'll see you tomorrow. Johnny Radio is right around the corner. Have a great day, everybody.